Welcome back. So yeah, I promised that we were gonna do some moving animation, like actually move them, not just moving in place. So we're gonna do that right now. Um, okay. As you can see, the spider is selected right now. We go to inspector, and we want to add a component. What component? Well, a new script, of course. We're gonna be using C# for this, and we're gonna call this. How about spider controller? Create and add. Okay. We have this in our assets, but we actually still lets me select it. We actually want to put that in scripts. Okay, come on. Okay, sweetness. Spider controller. Yep. Okay, now I want to double click. We can either double click here or we can double click here. I'm just gonna double click right here. When you double click, it opens the Mono developer, which comes with Unity, and it is where we're gonna be doing our scripting. So yeah, let's wait for it to load because my laptop is awesome and loads really fast. Ha ha ha. Okay, it's okay. We got all night. No, you really don't. But this thing takes forever, so I think it thinks it. We got all night. Hey, it's opening. Let's give it a minute so it finishes loading and everything. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. So now we're in our script. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use code that I already have prepared, and I'm just gonna explain what it does. So I'm just gonna be copy and pasting code, so you don't have to sit here and watch me type, because that'll be fun. Okay. So, whoops. I'm just gonna type in some variables or paste in some variables, and we made this public because if we make it public, we can actually edit this value from within Unity. We don't even have to change it in the script. We can change it from Unity. And we also added this other private variable, which is of type vector3. Yeah, we're using vector3 even though we're only doing a 2D game just because um, it makes it simpler. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. And we named it move direction because this will be where we store which direction we want to move. See, the point of the game is that when we tap on the screen, the spider should move in that direction. And, well, the ultimate goal is that you collect spider webs. It's a pretty dumb game, but bear with me. You collect spider webs and you're supposed to collect 10 without getting hit by a skeleton. If a skeleton hits you, you lose uh, 3 spider webs, let's say, and you lose a life, and you only have 3 lives, or 3 lives. So yeah, okay. Now we're gonna add some more code, and what this does is it it starts off our spider moving to the right. So as soon as the game is launched, the spider will already be on its way to the right. Yeah, okay. So now what we want is to add stuff to our update method. The update method is what is called, yeah, once per frame. And there are multiple frames in a second during a game. So this will be called multiple times every second. Okay. So, yeah. Alright. That's a lot of code. I know. It's a lot of code. But I'll walk you step by step. That's weird. Okay. Because I copy and paste it, so yeah. Okay. So what this does is it's getting the current it's setting the current position to the position of the sprite. See, transform is usually used when you have a sprite, whatever the script is attached to, and that position will it just returns a 3D array or 3D vector. And yeah, so yes, you can see it says position. You can get and set with the same method call. Or yeah, you have a loop here where it says if input.get button fire 1. What that does is it changes your move direction every time you press. It gets an input like either whether it be a tap or a button click. Speaking of button clicks, I know that my button clicking is really annoying, but I can't do anything about it. Vector 3 move toward, that is saying where it's heading, So camera is obviously your camera, that main, that screen to world point, input, that mouse position. See, your screen, or when you tap a button, or when you tap somewhere in your screen, it actually does get the location for that. It does get the location for that input you made, relative to the screen. So what this is doing is it's actually saying from the origin, meaning from 0, 0, what is the position relative to the button click. So since obviously our game is going to be a scrolling type of game, it's going to start at the origin and it's going to move to the right and keep going and going. We're obviously going to be getting away from the center point, from the origin, as time goes by. So what this does is it tells it the actual position of the the button click, And then you have your move direction is move toward minus current position. So that's just saying it's like a distance formula. When you have a distance formula, you have position A, position B. You want to get to A from B. So you do some subtraction and you get your value. Well, this is telling you what direction to move to. And then move direction dot C equals 0. Well, since it's since it's a 2D game, we don't have a C value, so we're just setting it to 0. And then the dot normalize, what that does is it returns that as a one-dimensional array. Or the point is, it's a method. It's used for direction. It's used a lot in gaming when you're trying to get the direction of something. It's normalizing, which means how do I put this? It it just returns an array or a vector that normalizes, or darn it, returns a vector of magnitude 1 is what I was trying to say. Because this magnitude of 1, or this vector of magnitude of 1 tells it which direction it's going. And then you have your target equals move direction times move speed plus current position. Obviously, your move direction times move speed is calculating how fast you're heading in that direction. And the current position is you're adding it to wherever you are right now. So that's your target, And then transform that position is, remember how before we used that to set current position? Well, position now is returning the current, the position, it's actually setting it. Remember how we got this when we hover over it and it says get set? Well, it not only gives you the position that you're currently at, you can also set it with the same method. So we're setting it, and we're using this little function right here, or this method, .lerp current position target time delta, to actually update it every time from the current position to the target position in time.delta, meaning time.delta returns you the time between each frame. So it's telling, this is used to calculate how much is moved every frame, since every frame is not, since you're not moving a frame per second. That way you don't move super fast, you actually move relative to time or number of frames. So yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna actually get up unit. Actually, we're gonna save this first. Save. And we're going to go back to Unity. And in Unity, we're actually going to run it and see what this does. Compiler has errors. All errors must be fixed. Okay. What do you mean it has errors? I don't see any errors. Give me a second. Okay, so I accidentally... Apparently you can copy and paste things wrong, and I had accidentally copied and pasted things wrong. See, what was happening was I had a dot in here, like that, and that is not a real thing. It's mouse position. The other thing was I actually had it like this, and it's actually supposed to be current position because that's what we named it right here. Yeah, so, you know, it happens. You get typos, mistakes. Don't worry about it. Just try and figure them out as you go along. But yeah, we're gonna save this again, and now we're actually gonna run this, and hopefully play. Interesting. Right, I see what's wrong here. So I know I promised you guys that your spider would be moving. There's only one problem with that, isn't there? It's not. So what you do is on spider run 0, you select spider run 0, and then you go to inspector, and then the inspector tab, we go to move speed, and we actually set that to 2. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's try that again. Hey, look at that. It's moving. Uh-oh. Yeah, I bet you noticed that, didn't you? Yeah, it's not turning directions when it's moving. We're actually going to fix that right now. Alright, so then. Okay, so in our mobile developer, or mono develop, we're going to add another variable and we're going to call this public float turn speed. This is going to be the turn speed at which your spider turns, you know. Okay? Next. Inside of the update method at the bottom, we're going to add this new section of code. Oh boy, what does that do? Float target angle. This is, yeah, some very interesting math that I'm not going to go into much detail. But basically what this does is it takes the direction of which you clicked, and what it does is it updates it to turn in that direction, you know. So like obviously when you decide to turn back or whatever, you don't start walking backwards, you actually turn your body around and then you start walking. Well, yeah, it's not exactly going to do that, but it's going to do something similar. It's going to actually turn its body as it's going in that direction. So let's save it and see what it does. Save. Go to Unity. Wait for it. Okay, looks like we don't have any errors this time. We're going to run this. Look, the spider. It's on its way. It's on its way. Oh, and that's, once again, I forgot to do this. Let's stop it. At turn speed, let's set it to, well, what about 5? Let's see how 5 works. Okay, that's not bad, right? I mean, we could try 10. Note, I have spider run 0 selected and in the hierarchy, and in the inspector tab is where I'm doing these changes. Okay, we're still under the spider script controller. Okay, I think I like turn speed 10 better. Maybe. I can't really tell. It's up to you, you know? Might actually change it back to 5. Just leave it at that. Okay. Great. But now, actually, if we run it again, you're going to see that it goes out of bounds. Oh no, the spider is gone. It's back because I clicked on it though. But it'll keep going on, going and going and going away forever. As you can see, the position, it just keeps increasing. We'll fix this in the next tutorial, and hopefully we'll get to collisions. But that's all for now.